you after a wondrous, no-compromise gaming PC that's as powerful as it is tasteful? Then huzzah, you're in the right place, as I've built an epic gaming machine that crushes it at all resolutions, and I guarantee it will be your new best friend for years to come. In this video, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about this PC, including the parts, how they all work, but most importantly the benchmarks to really show you just what this machine is capable of in things like Apex Legends and Fortnite. I also want to say a massive thank you to NZXT for actually sponsoring this video and sending out all of the parts to make this video possible. Our journey begins with the motherboard, NZXT's very own N7 Z390. And I was really curious to try this out, as unlike other boards on the market, the N7 really wants to stand out and has loads of really neat features to really make your build that little bit easier. I really love how you can use NZXT's CAM software to control all of the RGB and fan speed all from one place, as well as the port selection and the physical appearance of the board itself. It perfectly complements the design of NZXT's case lineup, and it really works a treat for the stealthy black look that we're going for here. I've paired the board with a Core i9 9900K, which Intel sent out last year. While it's true that 10th generation CPUs are indeed coming, it doesn't stop the 9900K from being a crazy fast gaming processor that really is the perfect choice for a super high refresh rate gaming rig. It has 8 cores, 16 threads, and is easily overclockable if you really want to push this thing to the maximum. And speaking of overclocking, this is definitely my favourite component in this whole PC. It's NZXT's brand new cooler, the Kraken Z63. On the face of it, this is a pretty business as usual all-in-one liquid cooler, with a 280mm radiator, and then a surprisingly quiet pump which keeps our CPU in check, without creating any horrible noise in the background. But the reason that this thing is so cool, however, all comes down to the display, which really takes things to an entire new level. I've always loved the look of the Krakens, but with the added utility that you now get from the Z63, this suddenly becomes a whole lot more useful. For example, you can now see the statistics of the PC on the screen of the display, which is a really useful way of monitoring your PC while you play your games. My pick of the bunch is to have the live CPU and GPU temperatures on screen at the same time, but you can load up plenty of other tidbits, such as playing with lighting effects, or even adding your favourite GIFs. The choice is entirely all yours. Now the bit I need you to pay a little bit closer attention to than usual is this bit, because we need to talk about memory. And unfortunately, my original plan of going for some RGB Corsair Dominator Platinum RGB didn't go to plan, because it just didn't work properly. It would work at the lower speeds, but as soon as I enabled the XMP profiles, it actually wouldn't load up at all. The PC would just boot loop and I would have to reset it before I could actually get anything to work. So I had to make a little bit of a modification, and instead we went for some Skill Trident Z. This worked out of the box, and as soon as I enabled XMP, it saw our frame rates boost a fair few extra frames. Now 32GB is definitely overkill for just gaming, so 16GB is what I'd recommend for most people, though if you're going to be creating something or maybe pushing the system to the max, then of course 32GB is a great shout. Now to fuel our games, we're going to need a graphics card, and here I've wheeled out my trusty RTX 2080 Super. I've had my review sample for quite a while now, and I just keep coming back to it at this level, as while it's not quite as fast as the TI version, it's much cheaper, and the tasteful design and aesthetic of the Founders Edition just looks incredible. As far as the horsepower of this thing is concerned, well, it's suitable for all but the most demanding high refresh rate 4K gaming needs. And for my testing, I've been using a 240Hz 1440p display, which I'd say is arguably the perfect pairing. Now at this level, I would argue that you're probably going to spend that little bit extra money when it comes to storage and grab yourself some NVMe. So here we're using Samsung's 970 Evo Plus. In combination with the fast and silent boot options on the N7 motherboard, getting into Windows is just so fast, so quiet, and firing up games takes no time at all. The 970 Evo Plus has been in so many builds on this channel, and it's still going strong. Samsung actually sent this out quite a while ago now, and it's always a true asset to our gaming rigs. To power our machine, we will of course need a PSU, or a power supply unit, and here we're using one from NZXT, is the C750. Never the most exciting component, but always extremely important, as getting something that's quiet, stable and powerful is definitely a necessity in my book. The C750 is pretty neat, as it's fully modular, so you're only going to need to use the cables that are specific to your individual build, and there's also a 0 RPM fan mode that helps to keep your PC as quiet as a mouse. Now 750 watts is probably what I'd describe as the sweet spot for power supplies, as you're very unlikely to ever need more than this, but it does allow you to do some serious upgrades and overclocking as and when required. Now last but certainly not least, we have the case itself. NZXT's H510 Elite, and boy is it pretty. I mean, just look at this thing, it is epic. NZXT has taken the classy look of their traditional cases and then fused it together with some very clever thinking and just the right amount of RGB that makes it super special. USB-C and Type-A can be found along the top of the case, and you get 2 Air 2 RGB fans included, as well as a controller for both RGB and fan speeds. But the layout is just so timeless that it's not only very neat and tidy, but extremely easy to build in. Now you might be wondering how airflow works with that gorgeous tempered glass front panel, but fear not, as there's a huge vent all the way along the right hand side of the case that stops your fans choking while helping to reduce a little bit of fan noise. Now NZXT also sent out a neat little underglow kit for this build, which I've attached to the bottom of the case for a little bit more oomph. But I did use a little bit of glue to do this, as personally I don't trust adhesive long term, especially when you're putting it directly underneath something. I've used Phillips U strips and I've used Lifex strips in this way and they just always fall straight down. So you probably could put it on the sides of the feet, but I think for best results, use a bit of glue and just whack it on the bottom of the case. That's what I've done, and so far, so good. On the whole, I am extremely happy with the entire build and how it turned out. It's just a pity that I couldn't get that RGB memory to work properly, and that I actually left an extra Air 2 RGB fan that would have gone at the back of the case in my old studio, so it's a little bit of a pain here. But in terms of the performance numbers and what you've probably been waiting for, you're looking at one of the most powerful gaming computers I've built. And with the pairing of that RTX 2080 Super and 9900K, it really pulls out all of the stops with no holds barred. With the settings cranked all the way up to max, we're seeing 4K frame rates in PUBG and Apex Legends at over the 60 FPS mark, with respectable results in the more demanding titles. Of course, you'd just lower a few settings to bring this back to where we'd like, but if you play any other resolution at all pretty much, then it's ultra all the way, baby. Sure, the system isn't the cheapest thing out there, but the fact that this can handle everything so smoothly is just a beautiful thing, and playing Apex on this machine is super slick. Though I'm afraid I mucked up my last game and only came second, sorry guys. Wait, and that actually happened in Fortnite as well. Are you seriously telling me that this rig has come second twice, not first? This is embarrassing. Forget the whole thing. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Back to being a little bit more serious though, what we've built here really is a thing of beauty, but it's more than just tempered glass and RGB. Get a classy chassis, throw in a little bit of bling, some near silent cooling, and then top end performance that really will last you for years, and what you end up with is just remarkable. If you do want to check out current pricing and maybe give this build a go yourself, you can find all of the parts listed down in that description below with my Amazon affiliate links. Let me know your thoughts on this. What's your favorite thing about this case? Definitely for me, it would be the front panel with the RGB that shines through. And do you actually think, because I've been wondering about this, that this is not enough RGB or the right amount? Because I really do like the fact that it's very stealthy on the inside and then it's sort of a bit more shouty on the outside rather than being the other way around. But I'm really interested to hear from you on this one, so let me know. And I've just touched the microphone. I'm sorry if that made a noise. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Do get subscribed for more videos just like this. You can find some more builds in the end screen. That's what I meant to say. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. All of these good things. But seriously, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.